The shadow Mio is hit in the head by Hizuru. Shinpei immediately recognizes her as the boat-bound woman, but he also notices that Mio has left. Behind Hizuru, Mio had faded into a shadow on the ground. After that, she comes out of the shadow and tries to stab Hizuru. But Hizuru dodges and shoots Mio's shadow on the ground with the gun. Mio is surprised that she was able to avoid that, and when the gunshot hits her, she breaks apart and vanishes. Hizuru makes sense of that she haven't been on the island since she was a youngster, and presents her as Ryunosuke Nagumo, and had come to save Shinpei. Shinpei recognizes the name, but Hizuru pulls him to the side and tells him that a shadow is coming before he can say anything. They rush up the stairs when they see Ushio coming. Shinpei wants to climb, but Hizuru prevents him from doing so by stating that this is where the shadows are congregating. Shinpei contemplates whether she can perceive people from shadows, and Hizuru makes sense of that over the shadow is only a piece of tissue in human shape. He needs to look at their feet, which are just a flat shadow on the ground. Only a shadow will move to avoid being stepped on, and they detest it when someone steps on them. The shadows, according to Hizuru's sister hypothesis, use light to scan people and take in their information. The data of taste requires the shadows to consume the subject directly, which results in black stains, but the shadows survive by eating human data. Hizuru takes note of that the shadows' number had expanded definitely over the most recent 3 days. Regardless of the number of she kills, and feels they might have an objective. Shinpei asks Hizuru for help after a flash on the hilltop causes him to want to save Mio. Takiko starts to cry and is then killed by a shadow as he sprints up the stairs. The festival is over, the shadow says. And it shows a big pile of dead people behind it. 9 is coming. After a brief pause, Shinpei begins obliviously counting the shadows. Shadow So, who had struck him in the head with an axe while he was protecting Mio, is visible to him. After that, Shadow So goes after Mio. But Hizuru blows his hands off with the shotgun. After that, the main shadow makes a female version of itself and shoots Hizuru with a gun. After that, Hizuru observes the dying girl being shot with a gun and quickly dodges. But he gets shot in the arm and concludes that the shadow is the parent. After that, the shadow catches Shinpei and examines its right eye, and he realizes that it must be the eye that their mother lost a long time ago. He claims that he can control time with it, but he wonders why he has it. Ushio awakens and tries to escape Shadow Shinpei, but she is told she is a shadow like them because a broken arm can't be fixed so quickly. According to the parent shadow, if a hero dies, he can continue from a save point until the Demon King is defeated. And the Demon King can only win by cutting off the electrical power. After that, he tells Shinpei to watch him as he turns off the power. Shinpei tries to get to Mio, but she and the rest of the dead bodies are consumed before he can reach her. The parent shadow serves them a meal and begs their mother for her final strength. After that, a glowing red light shows mother floating in the air. The parent shadow begins to spread across the island and consumes everyone it comes into contact with. Saito is in a wheelchair at Hishigata Hospital with a shadow. He mentions that she had recovered after consuming 1,000 people as he looks at the red light. Shinpei receives an apology from Hizuru, stating that she should have believed the message earlier. Shinpei tells her that it is not over and asks her to shoot him in the head, stating that he will start over regardless of how many times he dies. Ushio comes and punches the parent shadow as the parent shadow prepares to devour him as well. Hizuru lets Shinpei know that assuming he truly can return, to track down her and say his name. Shinpei is then shot in the head by Hizuru. After that, Shinpei finds himself afloat in the air. A red girl and a shadow cover the island, and he notices her as well. After that, Shinpei clearly hears Ushio telling him that his power is limited and that the festival ends in death for everyone. Following his visit to the island and meeting with Mio, Shinpei returns to July 22nd. Shinpei begins to reflect on the situation and Ushio's words later. He realizes that his starting point always advances. He realizes that he cannot continue to fail because eventually, Mio and the others will begin to die and he will never be able to save them. Ushio, on the other hand, awoke at the beach.